So I'm going to start a new series on this channel of content or stuff that I find interesting. Like I'm doing the true crime cases, exploring videos, documentaries, etc, etc. So these are almost like blogs I've written in the past from my blog website, which is linked on the screen by you. And I thought I'd make them to video formats. So today's one is going to be quite a sad one. We'll start off with something that happened in the country that I live in, Wales. Just imagine a village of 67 people being sacrificed just to make sure one of the largest cities in England has a clean supply of water. And this is another thing of England's might against Wales. Today we are going to be looking at the tragic case of the flooding of Capel Celyn, the town that was sacrificed for Liverpool. Liverpool was one of the largest cities in the United Kingdom, and it had a problem in 1955 as it had a shortage of water. In that year, the shortage did peak substantially. So they had to figure out a new area to build a reservoir, because when people from the council came and tested the Mersey, they realised how polluted it was, because the Mersey is also a port, and around it are wastelands, slums, and just the general city pollution of Liverpool. So this reservoir didn't need to just pump clean water supplies into Liverpool and the rest of the Merseyside like Birkenhead. It had to go into the Wirral area as well, which is another area within the Mersey radius. So it was estimated that it would need 65 million gallons of water to make sure Liverpool had enough a day. This is now 65 million gallons a day. So the city councillors and planners realised they needed to find a place to place this reservoir they need to build, and they eyed up North Wales, and especially I'm going to absolutely butcher this, the Trifern Valley, where Capel Celyn sat. Capel Celyn is a very, very small village. Like I said in the introduction, there's only 67 people at the time was living there. It's one of the last places at the time that had, everyone spoke Welsh, basically. It was the only Welsh speaking village, and it was made up of a school, a church, and a couple of houses and farm cottages. So Capel Celyn didn't really get the influx it needed because it didn't have the industrial booms of the rest of South Wales and parts of North Wales. It didn't have ironworks. It went in the North or South Wales coalfields. It was just mainly an agricultural place. It's not the first time that Liverpool had to drown another Welsh village to build a new reservoir, because I have by here on my phone that in 1888 the city of Liverpool and the government decided to demolish the Welsh village of Llanwins. In that village it contained 3 inn-houses, 2 chapels, 10 farmhouses, a large estate. The small village was demolished to make way for Lake Virins, it's on the screen, and a newly built dam. So basically people went across these weren't happy, I don't know when I went across these streets, I'm just jumping the gun here, but they weren't very happy with this proposal because they feel like history was going to repeat itself. So the people of Capel Celyn started to protest in the streets of Liverpool. Anytime that a council meeting was held in Liverpool, in the town hall, the city hall, or anything involving the drowning of Capel Celyn being proposed, the residents, and I mean all the residents, would travel up to Liverpool on the train and just protest. And the Scousers in Liverpool weren't very keen on this, as you can probably guess. They want clean water. They started throwing rotten fruit at the villagers and would start causing mini skirmishes, which would end up being broken up by the police, and the villagers would pay for it all. Despite all these skirmishes sometimes turning into violence, Liverpool City Council did offer a small committee of the Capel Celyn residents to travel up to the Merseyside and fight their case. And every time, pointlessly, these were held just to show that, oh, we are actually trying to consult with these people. They got nowhere, because Liverpool Council stood firm in their decision, but they needed the government backing. And as you can guess, the government backed it completely, because why not an English Westminster based government absolutely decide to flood the entire village of Capel Celyn? I think it was all but one Welsh MP decided against it. One agreed to it, and that person is a traitor. But interestingly, in these committee meetings, protesters still turned up, and one held up a sign saying, "Your homes are safe, don't drown ours." Sensationalist newspapers enjoyed stuff like this happening, because they had basically a massive viewership, readers, and they really sensationalized incidents. They decided to call the residents of Capel Celyn troublemakers, so the papers would sell. The sensationalist newspapers surrounding incidents in Wales or involving Welsh people really comes ahead in 1966 during the Aberfan disaster, where the journalists were absolute vultures, serpents and vermin they were. And it carries on to modern day. So in 1957 it was put up to debate in the House of Commons. As I did say, it had to get through the government hurdle, which it did, and 35 of the 36 MPs, which I did mention, voted against it, but the Welsh MPs just couldn't do enough to save it. So the fate of Capel Celyn was sealed, and signs were placed around the village basically giving eviction notices to people and tell them they will be rehomed possibly, because government likes lying. We all know that from the Grenfell disaster, which is possibly didn't happen. But another sign started appearing around the village. The sign read, "Construction of the Tryweryn Reservoir, Employing Authority Liverpool Council, Contractor Tarmac Civil Engineering Limited." And people did scroll on the English language only sign, "Why not drown Liverpool instead?" And being a Welsh speaking village, it is very, very insulting that the signs were only written in English. People did vandalise these signs, and in 1962 everyone received every eviction notice. So dire, the fate of the village would be drowned. But people from Gwent actually came up to Capel Celyn to destroy equipment. I'm going to read here. He was fined £50, this gentleman was, and he was basically told he would have to pay it or go to prison. But the former party president of Plaid Cymru, Gwynfor Evans, paid the £50 fine for this man. And basically another incident I'm reading here saw 3 men receive prison sentences after planting a bomb at the site, seriously destroying working equipment. Basically, all this protest wasn't enough, and Capel Celyn was finally drowned, which gave Liverpool now the fresh water is so dearly needed. So the village of Capel Celyn is all but a ghost under the waves. And Capel Celyn is remembered in a way, because the most famous thing, if you do travel to Capel Celyn or up to that way, is a mural. It was painted by, and I'm going to butcher names as well in this, that's why I've got my phone with me to do this, because it's all mainly Welsh phrases. It says Coffish Drywen, or Coffee Rick Drywen, which stands for Remember Trywen. It was urging Welsh speakers to remember what happened there, and that it should never be forgotten as the injustice by the English. It was created by the poet Meic Stevens, who drove around Wales with his friend Roderick Evans to find a suitable location. It took him 15 to 20 minutes to paint this mural, and funny enough, it has got a grammatical error in it. It remained until quite recently, until it's believed a couple of English nationalists decided to drive to Wales and destroyed the Coffic part of it, leaving the wall in damages, because this wall was part of the old Troy de Rue cottages, which used to be part of the outside of the village. So 8 volunteers went up to North Wales and decided to rebuild this wall and repaint it to what it would look like, and giving it also a more of a facelift because the colour was fading off it. There was another little wall by side of it, and Yes Cymru caught the wind of this wall. I just burped on camera. Yes Cymru caught this wall, and they decided to write in Welsh, "We will rise again," in the same paint on the wall. So that is Capel Celyn, and it's just another story about how the English has subjugated the Welsh so badly in history, to even drown in villages, people's inhabitants, where people grown up and probably lived all their life, just to build a reservoir when they could have easily found somewhere in Lancashire or Yorkshire, which was more than enough area to use to make sure Liverpool have their water, clean drinking water, clean bath water, so they can survive. This could have been done without flooding a village, without flooding towns, but they chose Wales and chose Capel Celyn, and also taking the villagers to Liverpool to basically fight their case and go nowhere. Talk about injustice. And I don't know if people really understand what Wales actually stands for. The nation name of Wales in English basically means slave or subject, because the actual name of Wales is Cymru, which is the true name for it. So if you watch Welsh football, you understand that they are called Wales, but the FAW, want to change their name to Cymru because they know it represents Wales more, and also the strong pride of national pride in football, with songs like Yma o Hyd, Together Stronger. It's just more, I think, in tune with football and the national anthem. If you ever go and watch Welsh football, just listen to the national anthem alone. We pelt it out better than the rugby fans do. You can see what Noel Mwy wants to do, and he is a big advocate for Welsh pride, and that's one thing the English can never ever get rid of, is the pride of Cymru, and it will never ever get rid of the memories of Capel Celyn. So yeah, that is the very first episode of Weird Stuff. I think I'm going to name this. I've got more coming up. I've got Mount Tambora, the Great Emu War, Chernobyl, Smalls Lighthouse Incident, which is another Welsh one, and many more. Again, I'll be doing true crime cases, I'll be doing exploring videos, hiking videos, and I have got another documentary called Aberfan, The Priceable, which is coming out on Monday the 10th of April at 8 PM, which is also Easter Monday. And yeah, I'll see you next time, guys.